New year, new me. Who this? It's me. It's you. We did it. It's 2021. It's behind the behind. We're still here. We exist. Oh, talk about a breath of fresh air. Just some quick updates. My wife and I are starting a podcast called Dinkin' Around. DINK, which stands for Double Income No Kids, and we have a lot of free time on our hands, so we decided to do one together. We'll do things like play the not-so-newlywed game. We'll play some makeup stuff where she's going to let me put makeup on her, and I will, of course, let her put makeup on me and make me look fabulous. But I would really love to introduce you guys to our first guest of the year, Ryan, also known as Gortek Gaming. Welcome. Welcome. Behind the behind. Welcome. What's your story? Behind the behind. You're a hero. Welcome. Where are we going? Behind the what? Behind the behind. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Behind. It's the new year. Awesome. We made it. We're alive. COVID hasn't taken all of us, and we're going to beat it. But I am also joined today by an awesome streamer. He works in charity, just like my wife and myself when we stream. And he's really funny, and he's kind of a maniac because he uploads a YouTube video every single day. His name is Ryan, but he goes by Gortek. Go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit more, man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Gortek from GortekGameplay, and I mean, you think it's crazy, but you're absolutely right. I don't know why I do this to myself. I think I just like to torture myself, you know? So
yeah, I think that's why I think we'll click as well. I've never done a podcast before, so this is my first one. It's my baby, my little passion project. And for some reason, I was like, you know what? Let's do 2 episodes a week. And it's been fruitful. I have a nice little. Well, it's not a backlog or anything, but I'm like a week and a half ahead. So as long as I keep going and I'm consistent with it, even if I have to do an episode by myself, I ain't worried. We're not even worried. We'll be just fine.
See, you do the smart thing. That's my goal. My goal is to stay 3 days ahead. But what I actually do is just record every day, edit until 4 a.m, and upload. Because I am horribly inconsistent with my entire life.
Now, do you also have a full-time job?
I do. I'm a full-time student at Central Michigan, as well as working 40 hours a week at a convenience store, and then also uploading daily.
Okay, so you have 2 full-time jobs. And
pretty much.
For those out there, going to school is hard. I am also the same. I decided to go extra full-time, did 22 hours a semester.
Oh, God. And
I worked about 32 hours a week, but then I just drank most of the rest of the time. So that's how I got through it. D's get degrees. Don't tell my mom. Shout out to Hunter, because he has the podcast, Don't Tell My Mom podcast, and I stole that from you. Sorry. So what made you want to be a streamer?
So honestly, I have no idea. I don't really know where it came from. I've just always watched YouTube. I've always loved watching YouTube videos. And about this time last year, it was December 26th of 2019. And I had just a moment where I realized I hate everything that is going on right now in my life. I need to make some sort of change. And so I started playing Spider-Man on my PS4, and I just was like, screw it. And I just started recording, and I uploaded it. And I was like, you know what? This is just me. It was kind of just a way for me to like vent about everything that I had going on in my life at the time. And then, so that's how I got started in YouTube. And then fast forward to March, this charity organization that I work with, the Gamers Outreach Foundation, they have an annual event called Gamers for Giving, and it's a big LAN party down at Eastern Michigan University. And obviously, with everything that happened with COVID, they had gone from the in-person event, and they had 1 week to move everything into an online charity live stream marathon. And So somebody reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, do you want to help us out? We need to find people really quick." So, and that was the first time I ever did a live stream. I streamed for 36 hours straight,
That was your
doing
first
that
stream?
marathon. That was my first stream.
Bro, you're insane, my guy. That's
Yeah, horrible decision. No sleep, and I it was a bad idea.
Shout out though to the mics up.
Oh,
We get these
hell yeah.
gaming headsets. I want a t-shirt that just says mics up because I think like maybe 3 people would get it,
I'd buy it.
you know? But
Yeah.
like the people that see it would be like, I don't understand what that means. And I think it's one of the funniest things because a lot of streamers do this. They buy the nice
Yeah.
microphone, but then we really like our gaming headsets, the
Yeah.
stereo and their good frequency response, and they're not crazy expensive.
And then you just get this weird, really nice mic that's on a mechanical arm over here.
Right?
Just keep it out
Yeah,
of the way.
I
It's
got
so
the
convenient.
yeah, I went cheap. I got the little newer for $50 on Amazon. But I also run it through an interface, so it's running through a preamp and then also into the computer. So I'm doing some stuff hard.
Yeah,
The
that's how
wire
I
setup
started. Same
is
thing.
is awful. My wife hates it.
No, I
So
just recently got an actual half decent mic. I was using some cheap $20 one that I found at Staples for 10 months before I
yeah,
finally
hey,
got a decent one.
yeah, that's my struggle. Is like, what do I want more? Do I want a VR headset or do I want a mic?
VR. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I
You
want a
want
VR.
VR. 100%. It is one
Yeah,
of the best investments I've ever made.
just waiting for that Donald Trump money, and we're gonna get it. So I hope you had a really good Christmas.
Oh, so convenient sitting at my mom's and watching Holiday in Handcuffs for the 10th year in a row.
Yeah,
That's about all I did.
ours is it's a wonderful life. That's our family's tradition.
Yeah,
So
well, we have this weird tradition, and I don't know how it started. Um, and it's really only my mom and I that do this. But my mom and I will watch every Hallmark movie that ever comes out for some reason. They're all the same thing, every single one, but we watch them all the time. But every year on Christmas, we watch Holiday in Handcuffs and we make cookies with a Christmas press that my grandma had when she was a kid in like the 1940s. So it's some really old Christmas press that we just make cookies with.
y'all, he's the true gamer. He likes to do a lot of things on hard mode, and I love it. So you said you watch like Hallmark movies, dude, and you watch a lot of them. I'm guessing you said.
We watch a lot of them. My mom will record every one that comes out every single year, even the ones we've seen 100 times. She records all of them, and then we just sit down and have 4 days where we just do nothing but watch Hallmark movies every
Bro,
year.
that's a podcast right there.
It would be, but no, my mom's not that funny. I don't know about. I don't know if I want to bring her in on this.
You know what? My mom, she can be pretty savagely funny, and it'll catch you off guard. But I don't think she would like get a lot of the jokes that I say like on the podcast or anything. I think you're probably smart trying not to do that. But you said you started off playing Spider-Man and you would just like kind of talk and vent. Is that what you would do?
Yeah, so my first video was just me playing Spider-Man on the PS4, and it was just me kind of talking and just explaining about all the weird stuff that had kind of gone on recently. And like that day, my great grandfather had passed away, and so that's what kind of sent me over the edge. And so it was kind of just me ranting about that. But then somehow it turned into me just getting my ass handed to me consistently, and then me raging a little bit. And then people were like, "Hey, I like that."
So that's a podcast right there too, man.
Yeah.
Um, I'm in the same boat. I'm an old man in a young man's world. Streaming is for the younger generation. I'm 31 now, unfortunately, so I'm not as quick as a lot of these kids. So when I try to play, the only game I can hold my own on is like Rocket League, and even then, it can be a rage fest. But I think you're right there. You're like you're in your 20s, right?
Yeah, I'm 21.
Dude, you're right there, man. You're right there. You're at this revolutionary spot. You're being consistent. Like, I see good things happening for you. If you could go back to like the beginning of your first video uploading or your first stream, what would you do differently that you've like learned along the way?
Um, I think probably the most important thing that I've learned along the way, and something that I try and work on every time, is that I want to strive to make each video better than the last. And at first, it was just something where I was, like I said, I was just kind of venting and ranting. I didn't edit anything. I was just kind of like putting it out there. Um, but then I kind of found a passion in editing, and just the feeling of like being able to control what I'm doing and like edit out all the stuff where like, okay, nobody cares about this. Like they just want to see me get my ass handed to me, you know? Like
Right.
so, but just after I hit a point where I started to edit, I try to make each video better than the last. I'll watch it, I talk to everybody who comments, and just try and figure out how I can make myself better. Um, and that's something I kind of wish I would have started that at the beginning instead of just putting random stuff out there. Um, but either way, it was a stepping stone I had to learn. But definitely, it's something I'll continue to do going forward.
Dude, that's awesome. And it seems like you have some friends that help you out with a lot of your stuff too.
Definitely.
And from experience myself, no one gets successful on their own.
Yeah.
Y'all out there that are trying to do this, get your friends involved. Do it. They want to help you. All friends want to see their friends succeed, and if you succeed, they succeed. And if they succeed, you succeed. I think Gortek Ryan here has a great community behind him. His videos are hilarious. Y'all need to check him out, 100%. But besides gaming, what is another passion you have?
Oh boy. I believe you're supposed to have free time in order to have passions. And that's kind of where I struggle a little bit with that, having time to be passionate about other things. Um, but if I had to pick something, honestly, I'd probably say it's cooking. Cooking is one of those things that I push myself to be better at and try and learn more of that. And it's pretty easy for me, just having what little time I have is like, okay, well, looking up recipes and stuff, like, okay, what can I make this week that will kind of push me, challenge me, but also give me an excuse to like serve people food, because I
Yeah,
like giving stuff to other people.
dude, that's perfect because my passion's eating food. So I
Well, we'll
think
have
we
to
we
next time
fit.
we'll do the podcast in person. I'll make dinner. We'll
There we go.
eat it on stream.
I my wife and I are intermittent fasters, and I have such a bigger appreciation for food now. I guess a respect for food.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I just used to eat whatever
Yeah.
could fit in my mouth, and and intermittent fasting. Not only have like I lost a whole ton of weight, but it's also made me like want things that are really good. I want that meal that I eat to be something that's gonna not just nourish my body, but nourish my mind and my taste buds. Do you have a favorite chef?
Do I have a favorite chef? Oh, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but if I had to pick my favorite chef, you got to go with Gordon Ramsay. Just because I think I have a similar personality in some ways, where I'm just an asshole all the time, but sometimes I'm funny. That's where I thrive. It's just
Yeah.
that small little gray area in there.
Someone's gonna serve you like uncooked bacon. You're like, this pig's so raw, it's still eating Hakuna or still singing Hakuna Matata. That's great. Have you eaten at any of his restaurants?
I have not. I like to cook, but I don't know the first thing about food. I've learned everything from Pinterest and my ex girlfriend, who said you need to learn how to cook because you have no skills. And then that's where I started with that.
Dude, my wife and I went to Vegas this year. It was like right when the it was right after the first wave, and it was of COVID, and things were starting to open back up, and they were making sure they didn't have every room booked at the hotels. And so we were like, you know what, we had a free trip that if we didn't use it, we were gonna lose it, and we were supposed to go on our anniversary 2 years prior, but things came up. So we were like, let's just go. Let's just do it. We have the money. We decided to drive instead of fly because it was safer. Don't do it in a car without cruise control. My right leg is like a slightly stronger than my left leg now. But we went to his steakhouse there. And while very, 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 very expensive, was some of the most delicious food I've ever had. I walked away from that meal not just wanting more, but like excited. Like, I don't know. I can't quantify what I was feeling. It brought me somewhere, you know? And then we ended up eating, he had a fish and chips, like pub house type thing that we ate at like twice while we were there. And we were only there for 3 days. So we definitely ate it up. Intermittent fasting did not exist when you're on vacation. But I highly recommend I know he has restaurants all over, not just Vegas, but if you
Yeah.
ever get a chance, dude, oh my gosh, go check it out.
I think my fear is that I think I'm a decent cook, but if I tried food where someone actually knows what they're doing, I can never say that again. And I can't brag about how good I am at cooking because in retrospect, I have no idea what's going on.
I totally understand. Maybe it'll inspire you. You never know.
Yeah,
I got
that's fair.
Yeah, I got lucky. I went to an art school that was like combined with a culinary school, and we got to test everything. It was fantastic.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yet for some reason after school, I was like, McDonald's. Let's go. No problem, Let's go. So you've been streaming for not very long, but
No.
it seems like you've been doing it for a really long. You seem more of a senior than me, and I've been doing it since April of last year, on and off. I didn't really start getting serious till July this year, and I did a 24-hour stream for Thorn charity. And while exciting, my old man body I thought was going to give up on me. I actually threw up that night. It was absolutely nuts. But I would definitely do it again. Maybe 12 hours. We'll see. We'll see what I'm capable of. Do you have any advice for anybody that's like thinking of getting involved in streaming? Like if somebody came up to you and be like, I don't know, I'm on the fence.
I think the biggest thing is just to get started. That's the hardest part of everything. So last year or the beginning of this year, I did a kind of New Year's challenge to everybody who was subscribed to me on YouTube. And it was a challenge of just, find the thing you're passionate about, the thing you've been putting off for years, and just try it. Just try it once. Because that was the hardest thing for me is I had wanted to do a YouTube channel for so long. And the hardest thing was just taking the first step and realizing, nobody's good at anything the first time. Like the first video you put out is going to be terrible. The first song you write, the first, movie you direct, it's going to be awful. But you're not going to make the 50th one until you've made the first. So the biggest thing is you just got to get started.
That's good. Nobody's a prodigy.
Exactly.
Well, like there's
except for prodigies, but that's they don't really count. They're their own. They're
Right.
their own group.
Oh man. So you're out here, you're playing games, you're recording games, you're making YouTube videos that sometimes don't even have anything to do with games. I saw your Christmas one and I loved it, man.
Yeah.
That's the one my wife, because I was like, oh my gosh, check out this guy, because she's my unofficial marketing manager and sometimes co-host, and I was like, check out this guy. I was at work, so I couldn't like just get on YouTube or fear of getting fired. And I was like, can you check out his videos? He hit me up, and that was the first video she saw. I think it was probably like your most recent one. And she's like, yeah, you need to get this guy on there. He's funny. He's a funny guy.
So she's the one that I need to thank for the invite here. All right, cool.
Now, I mean, I would have taken you anyway, man. I the whole point of Behind the Behind is everyone has a story, and everyone, even no matter what walk of life you are, everyone's story is interesting, has some interesting things about it, because we're all unique. Well, some of us are similar to others, but we're all unique in some way. And I think it's really important to get everybody's story out there. I've had politicians on here. I've had Star Wars nerds. I've had comic book nerds. I've had DMs on here. I've had music producers on here. Like I don't know where this is going to stop, but I mean, maybe like sports, because I don't know anything about sports. Like, throw the ball on the line, whatever it means. Yay, sports ball. But if someone wants to be on it, I'm usually all about it. But you really struck a chord with me because of your consistency and your like dedication, man. Like that's someone your age doing that is so unheard of, and it's such an inspiration that even if just one person hears your story and they're like, I want to do that too, it's you're helping inspire the world around you, and that's super awesome.
And that was kind of the whole reason for doing that challenge at the beginning of this year. Was my goal was I wanted to inspire one person to just try something they didn't think they were going to do. And I had a friend of mine who she started a blog just because she had thought about it for a while and just didn't think anybody would read it. But she started a blog because she was like, well, you did it. You convinced me. And like, that was my goal with that video. Just one person needs to try that.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Can I be honest with you for a second? Because you brought up the Christmas video.
Yes.
100%. I did not mean to record that video. I think it's one of the best videos I've made to date, but that is not what I started recording that night, because I had just gotten this new camera and I was recording. I don't even remember what it was. There was some indie horror game that I had started recording, and I don't know what it was. I just started getting on some tangent, and then finally I was like, you know what, screw it. And I just set up a camera in back here and I just started ranting, and somehow that's what it turned into.
Oh, that is the spot. I didn't even recognize it.
That's the whiteboard right back there.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it right there. We're getting the tour of the whole studio.
I'm in the middle of reorganizing my entire studio. I have like foam panels that are literally just sitting behind my monitor right now, just in stacks, because I haven't bothered putting them up yet.
Yeah, I have a box of foam panels that I got from work, and I don't even know where they are. I think I'm gonna have to put them back here. In front of me is 2 queen size beds, because our house that we were renting came furnished, and for some reason they had 2 beds in this room. And I was like, the heck are we gonna do with 2 extra beds? I guess we can have people over, but that in today's climate, that's not really a thing that we're doing. But you make use of the space you have. What are those flags behind you?
Those are from World of Warcraft. That's really where I got my start in gaming as a kid. My dad used to play World of Warcraft, and he would have us sitting on his lap while he would play for just like 2 hours straight, and we'd just be sitting there. And so that's how he kind of introduced us to video games. And so I have the Horde and the Alliance flags hanging up in the background.
Nice.
Because that's kind of where I got my start in gaming. So it's just a little bit of me kind of just hanging out in the back there.
I love it, dude. Do you have a favorite, do you have a YouTuber that you look up to?
Oh, there's so many, honestly.
Yeah.
I think obviously there's the big name YouTubers. You've got Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and PewDiePie, all those people, which obviously they're an inspiration for me just because of their dedication and just how funny they are. But if I go back, I would say probably my biggest inspiration since I was a kid was Tobuscus. Because
Tobuscus! Yes.
Tobuscus! But yeah, so he was just he was an inspiration for me as a kid, and it kind of gave me somewhere to go to. My parents absolutely hated that I watched him, though, because I would walk around just doing his voices all the time. I just started doing that as a kid to the point where my parents would smack me, like, hey, stop doing the voice. And I'm like, I'm not doing a voice. And they're like, yes, you are. And I didn't even realize what I was doing. I just started doing it so much. But so that was a big inspiration for me growing up was Tobuscus.
Dude, the early days of YouTube.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go. No. And then I'd get smacked by my mom for being an idiot in front of the house guests. That's how it would go.
That's great, man. My YouTube inspiration is Mr. Beast. That guy's insane.
Yeah.
And he's like you. He's so young. He's just super ambitious, you know. Also think he has a hate of money. Um, he just
There's
seems to
definitely
just
something messed that guy up. There's something in his past that he hasn't told us about where he can't stand money at all. Can't hold
ever.
on to
Yeah.
it.
Like he probably gets a check and he crumples it up and just chucks it. Like
Yeah.
it seems to be what happens. I I've just recently started watching his videos. I didn't even know who he was. And one of the first videos I watched was he goes into streamers channels that have like 0 or less than 5 viewers, and here's 10 grand. It's like, what,
Yeah.
dude? You do you know what you just did to that person's tax bracket? Like,
You just ruined their life for the next
yeah.
6 months.
I don't want to be that person having to do my taxes later on down the road. Oh my gosh. So you've been doing this super consistently and just been hauling ass. What's some obstacles that you've encountered?
Well, I hate to state the obvious, but COVID sucked, and that was a huge obstacle for all of us. So I think that was probably one of the biggest things was COVID kind of gave me burnout for a while there. And just like I said, I'm basically working 2 full-time jobs as well as trying to upload daily. So there was a period this year where I stopped uploading for probably 4 months, or I was at least pretty inconsistent. I would upload maybe once a week. And it was just random stuff that I wasn't super proud of. But I think that was probably the biggest thing for me. And it wasn't until just recently that I finally had this epiphany where I was like, you know what? This is the one thing I actually like doing. I like making people laugh. I like making YouTube videos. And so that's when just recently I was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be right now. I need to focus on this. But yeah, definitely there's a big slowdown this year.
Yeah, for a lot of people. My big excuse for the longest time was, man, I have to wake up at 5 in the morning to get to work, and then I got work all day, and then I come home and I'm tired. And then I would just play games with my friends, but then it just wasn't as fun as I'm having now,
Yeah.
doing the things that I've always wanted to do. And now I get to do those things with my friends. You know, the only time I ever actually get to play games is if I'm playing with them. Granted, a friend did gift me a single player game that I've been playing by myself, and I stayed up a little bit too late the other day. It's called Godhood, and it's like a Sid Meier's Civilization, but super simplified, where you're a deity and you're trying to like get followers and create a religion that gets immortalized or whatever. And it's just super fun, and you get to choose like, are your people war hungry, greedy, peaceful, devout, whatever. And
War
it's just,
hungry. That's the only
yeah.
way to go.
I started with the generosity one, and that is I lost like within 20 minutes of playing, and it's supposed to be a long drawn out campaign, and it was like, sorry, you're done. And like your warriors / priests or whatever, they actually age out, and you have to like choose when to kill them, and it's there's so much power in your hands.
Yeah, see, I'm so inconsistent between like how I play video games and who I am as a person outside of my channel. Because like outside of my channel, and like I've said, I've done all the charity streaming work that I do. I'm very, hey, let's everybody get along, let's be friends, let's help everybody. But if I'm in a video game, I don't care who you are, you're going down. All right.
Oh yeah,
I'm a warmonger.
you can ask my friends. I'm not nice when it comes to games, and sometimes I go a little far, but then I'm like immediately remorseful. So it's like, oh, you stupid bleep, and then and then I'm like, hey man, I'm so sorry I said that. That was super rude. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I just started playing Jedi Fallen Order about 2 hours ago, and there was this monster that kept killing me because he was way too high level for me. And my roommate was watching me, and he kept saying, "Dude, just leave." And I was like, "No, he needs to die. He deserves to die."
You went in the pit, didn't you? You in the pit on the first world. I know exactly where you are.
Yep.
Because that's exactly what happened to me. How many resets I've had at that exact moment was like, this guy's dying. I don't care what happens.
I lost count after 7.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My favorite game right now is Phasmophobia. I cannot stop playing that. Dude, did you know that was made by one guy?
I did not know that. No.
It's one dude who taught himself how to use Unity, and he's the only developer. So all these updates and stuff, it's just him. It's just him. He has one of those apps where it's like, these are the things I'm working on. These are the things in the background. These are the updates that I plan to do. And people can comment and be like, oh, here's an idea, or whatever. Or he can collab with people if he wants. But man, I'm so impressed. That's one of the best games of 2020, hands down. I definitely voted for it. Yeah, on Steam. What games are you playing right now?
I tried that in VR the other day, and it was the worst decision I've ever made in my life.
I cannot wait. I love the supernatural world. I'm such a skeptic in that in real life. And my wife and I actually guested on a podcast last night about it's called Spirits in Chat. And what they do is they just bring people on to talk about their stories, and I'm like, man, I've not seen anything. My wife is like, and it's frustrating because I have, you know. But then Phasmophobia. My wife is not a gamer by any means. She in fact, when we were first getting together, she was kind of worried because she's like, you play games a lot for an adult. And I was like, I don't think you understand what the world is. The world is gaming, okay? And then, you know, she eventually was like, okay, it makes you happy. I wish I just made you. No, I'm just kidding. She was very supportive, and she let me build my own computer, and I learned how to do that from YouTube. Thank you, Jay's 2 Cents and Paul's Hardware, all those guys. And then I was like, oh, well, if I do productive gaming, that's what I like to call it, where when I'm streaming, I'm productive gaming.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gaming.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And none of you can tell me otherwise.
And but she watched me play Phasmophobia, and she thought it was awesome. So I was like, well, it actually runs on pretty low grade machines. Like, let's see if we can get it on your little laptop we got you. And it worked. And so she's playing it. She actually plays without me with my friends a lot. So I owe Phasmophobia more than just a great game, but another way for me and my wife to bond.
Yeah.
In the gaming world.
Now, I have a friend who she had never really played video games before. She started playing Among Us, and she's the reason I started playing it, because she said, I want to play video games with you, but I want to be better than you. So we need to play a game that you don't know how to play.
Fair enough.
But I had her record her first horror game the other day, and it was astounding.
Oh yeah, I think it's one of your videos, right?
Yeah, it's one of my more recent videos.
It was Shelby played. Yeah.
Shelby played her first horror game.
That's awesome. See, bring your friends in, y'all. Don't try to do it alone.
It's so much more fun.
Yeah. And when you fail together, or you can blame them.
Yeah, you got to have somebody to blame. That's the biggest thing from that.
So did you build your own computer?
I did not. I'm working on building my own computer, but I had a laptop that I started on, just a very cheap, horrible laptop that I started working on, that I used when I started my videos, and then it died in March. It died a week before I had to go back to class, and the class was going to be all online. So I had to order like some $600 pretty cheap system that I'm still using currently, because I had 1 week before I had all online classes, and I no longer had a laptop I could use.
Oh man!
So I'm working on it right now.
Let's get this guy some parts, y'all. Dude, once you build one, you'll want to build a whole bunch. It's so addicting. I have a little collection of parts now, because I built one and I was like, well, let's upgrade it. So I got a new graphics card, and I was like, well, let's add some memory. Well, let's add this component, and now I have a little small thing of parts. And so now I'm going to build. I was like, hey, babe, maybe if you use some of our government money, we can build you a computer. And she's like, okay. And so now I get to build a second one. Well, a third one. We've already built one for a friend of ours because once I built my computer, a bunch of my friends got computers, and they were like, we had some friends that were still on Xbox that couldn't play with us. And so we're like, well, let's just get them a computer. Let's build them a cheap computer and bring them with us. And here we are.
I'm trying to get
Man.
Shelby a computer right now so she can play something other than Among Us because people want more Shelby.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. People. So I recorded an episode of my wife. I think she was episode 5 on the podcast, and it came out. And then the next week, people were like, "Oh, when are you bringing your wife back?" And I was like, "Man, she just had an episode. She just came out. What are you talking about?" So we're actually going to start a podcast together that's separate from Behind the Behind. And now I'm going to never sleep again. So there's that. What games are you playing right now, besides the ones we've mentioned, that you just can't put down?
Oh, let's see. I mean, like I said, there's so many. I've been playing. So my go-to game is Rainbow Six Siege. I'm on the Rainbow Six esports team for CMU, and so that's one of my go-to things is Rainbow Six. But just some of the stuff I do with my friends. I've been playing GTFO recently. We've streamed Raft.
What's GTFO?
GTFO. Oh, it's the hardest game you will ever play. There's 2 modes. You have hard and you have extreme. So it's basically you're some kind of prisoner, and you and 4 people get sent into this like research facility where these people have been infected with something. I don't know what it is, but you have to basically recover intel and hard drives and cryogenically frozen samples and stuff like that. And then you have to get them out of this facility. But the whole time, if you make noise, everybody in the room is going to attack you. There's doors where it's like, okay, an alarm is going to go off, and there's going to be a horde chasing you. It is one of the hardest games I've ever played, and you have to play it with 4 people. There's no other way. You're not going to survive without at least 3 people, but more than likely 4.
Jeez, that sounds like my kind of game.
It is fun. You download that game. You can hop in with us next time.
Yeah, dude, I'm always down. I have this problem where I only play games with the intent of like, well, can I play it with my friends? There's so many good single player games out there, and I need to give them credit. But man, this is not the world of single player anymore.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I get really into indie horror games, like indie games, because there's so many like single player games that are just short but really fun to get into.
I just played Deliver Us the Moon.
I don't think I've heard of that.
It's a 3-hour game. On Mondays, if I don't record an episode of the podcast, I do a single player game, and I try to do something I've never played before. And that just happened. What's great is I have the Xbox Live Ultimate, so I have it on I can download the games on the computer, and there's a feature there where it rolls. It's like it's a D20, and it says "Surprise Me," and it just goes through the whole catalog of games and be like, "Play this," and one will pop up. So I clicked it, and then that game popped up, and so I was like, "Cool." I watched the trailer, and I was like, "Okay," and you just have to save the world, pretty much.
Right.
And
I was gonna say, I think I might have watched that. Didn't you stream that like last week or something like that?
Last week or the week before, I recorded it. I'm gonna upload the entire footage.
Okay, I think I might have gone back and watched a little bit of it. Yeah, I think I went back and watched a little bit of it when you were playing it.
Yeah, it was so good, dude. I cried. I cried at the end. And I don't get that emotional. I don't want to lie. But no, that's what got me into games as a kid, is that was my escape. Childhood wasn't always the best, and so escaping into a whole nother world. So books, fantasy, man, Stargate SG-1, those kinds of things are what like drew me in to, man, this reality sucks. That reality rocks. let's go there. And that's where I would live at in my head. And that game literally hit all the notes that I needed to feel that nostalgic play again.
Yeah.
And I reached out to them, and they're all from Sweden, and I was like, "Can you be on my podcast, please? Please." It made me cry. I need to talk to you.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I think it's probably one of the coolest things is that I've had one of my favorite indie developers just recently has been like reaching out to me, and he's been sending me game codes and stuff like that. And for me, I'm like, this is the height of luxury. I never thought I would get to this point. Like, and it's so cool just being able to actually talk with developers, and be able to work with them and be like, yeah, here's this. I love the game, but here's something I would recommend. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. Like, that is so cool to be on that level, even if I'm so unqualified to be at that level.
You know what, man? It's we always do this to ourselves as people. We always like tell ourselves like, oh, the job I'm in, I'm definitely not qualified for. But if you think about it, is anyone? Whenever somebody gets a new position, you're not going to be the best at that position. You have a learning curve, and it's just about how fast you learn and how efficient you become at it. And when it becomes a good fit, it becomes a good fit. I think you put off the presence that you're like the king, so you're doing just fine. Don't ever sell yourself short. If you do, just hit me up. I'll let you know how good you actually are.
It beat some sense into me.
With kindness.
Now I'm kind of like both my physical appearance and my skill level are kind of on par, where it's like I look like the love child of a walrus and a piece of bread. Like that's where I thrive, is at that level.
Same. I try to grow a beard. Like, you actually have stuff here.
A little, not as much anymore. Yeah.
Mine only grows here. I need to touch this up. And I went with the name Good Boy because I thought it would be the funniest thing if I went into people's Twitch stream chats or whatever, and they'd be like, "Hi, good boy." You're talking to a person like they're a dog, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's fun for me.
I would have gone with who's a good boy.
That's a good one too. My wife, but man, it created a whole community. And my wife, she's Mrs. Good. Her mom is Mama Good. Her sister is Little Good. And I was like, yo, it's picking up. Let's go. Let's do this thing. That's so funny. I have a few friends that they're kind of the reason I got into streaming. One of them is the guy who made this pillow that I got from his merch store. And I didn't tell my wife about it. So when it arrived in the mail, she was like, what is that?
Yeah, I've been kind of looking at it on and off, and I'm not sure how to feel about this.
It's the doo-doo.
Like, I didn't know if I should warn you, like, hey, there's something behind you that might hurt you, just so you're aware. Or if I just kind of wanted to see what happens,
Right. If it jumped out at me randomly.
We'll do whatever we have to for content, If I have to die on stream but from some pillow, so be it.
Yeah. That's the way I want to go. I've already written it. So you've been doing this. You clearly want to do this for the rest of your life. At least until you want to retire. What goals do you have in mind for your empire?
So I had never actually thought about that until just recently. I started seeing a life coach, actually, and she asked me, like, hey, if you knew you couldn't fail, probably some of the best advice I've ever gotten is that if you wanted to do YouTube and you knew you couldn't fail, what would your life look like in 5 years? And so I made a list of like, I'd be in California. I'd be able to collab with like these YouTubers. I'd be able to, make these kind of YouTube videos and just all this stuff. And one of my biggest things is like, I want to have haters. I want to be on that level where like people care enough to say, screw this guy. Like that's where I want to be in life. I want people to not like me and be vocal about it.
Yeah. Take the time out of their day to let you know in the comment
Exactly.
section of YouTube where humanity is just fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm all about it, man. That's a good goal to have. I didn't think about that. I need to write it down in my journal. That's awesome. You're seeing a life coach. What's that like?
It's interesting. I've only had like one meeting with her just because with the holidays and everything that's been going on, like we haven't been able to meet again. Hopefully, we'll be doing that next week. But it was kind of just something where I had the realization that I'm like, I want to be in content creation. I want to continue to make people laugh. Like if this is something I can do for the rest of my life, I'm going to do whatever I need to. And so it was kind of just a way to have somebody that holds me accountable. Um, but it's been more interesting than I thought because it turns out it's actually just showing me how to hold myself accountable. So now I'm working 3 jobs. I'm working at 7-Eleven, going full time to school, uploading daily, and having to pretend that I'm responsible. So I'm basically just a jack of all trades at this point.
Yeah, I probably need one of those. I need somebody to let me know that I have to continuously be funny because I'm pretty sure that's the only way I convince my wife to be with me. She's way too pretty for me, and I was like, people are like, how did you get that? How did you what happened in her life to make her make this decision?
What's wrong with her? Like that's I feel that.
And I just tell people it's because I make her laugh a lot. Her eyes are closed most of the time, and so she doesn't actually see me. She just hears my jokes and stuff, and that's the only way we're gonna get through this marriage. I'm hoping that I become like one of those like old fox, gray hair,
like a silver
salt
fox?
and pepper. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, maybe then I can justify it a little better, and I won't have to work so hard. Just kidding. Men treat your women with respect 100% of the time. It's gonna work out. I guarantee it. Just be nice to them. Just be
it's
nice.
Not that hard.
It is not that hard. Thank you. If you fit, you fit. Man.
No, my dad used to say the same thing to me because that's how I grew up with. Like, I mean, I've always been a bigger kid, and for me as a kid, like it was a big thing. Like, I'm insecure about myself, and like, what if I'm gonna be like single forever because I'm unattractive? And my dad would always tell me, "Son, you are naturally so funny. Like, and someday you're gonna come home with a bombshell because you're just so funny." When you're not trying to be. He's like, when you try to be funny, you're a dumbass. Don't ever try. But, you know, but just let it happen. So that's a big thing. Guys out there, if you're single, just make girls laugh. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. And you don't want the girl that's looking for looks because she's not at the place in her life where she's looking for somebody that's gonna be around her for the rest of her life. And when you find someone that you make laugh and then they fall in love with you because of your personality rather than what you look like, the whole world opens.
Everybody's so much happier.
Yeah, so much happier. And then usually internally you're like, I want to be the best me that I can be for her. And so now I'm trying to lose weight. I took the glasses off. I'm contacting it up. Like, let's go. So you stream, you YouTube, and it seems like you also want to open that up to like doing other things.
Yeah.
If you had all the money in the world and all the platforms were available to you, what would be the one platform that you want to be the most successful
on? As far as like you're talking about YouTube streaming, stuff like that, what platform? Definitely YouTube. YouTube is so out there for streaming platforms because there's just so many options. You can do literally anything, and anybody in the world can find you on there. It's a very unique opportunity that I would love to actually like be able to be a part of and be able to collab with people who could do that and just have the feeling that, because for me, there's nothing like having a good edit when you know there's a good edit and you post it on YouTube. Like, it's a great feeling, and I would love to be able to hold on to that, for the rest of my life.
Yeah, 100%. I'm right there behind you. Now, getting back into gaming, we all have that one game that just like clicked. That was the game that we knew we were going to play video games for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
What was that game for you?
Oh, definitely Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Because I played video games my whole life. Like I said, I grew up on World of Warcraft, but I was always so bad at it. And everyone would tell me that I'm so bad at it. But Assassin's Creed was the one game where finally like everything clicked and I just popped off and I was so much better than all of my friends. That's a lie, but you know, whatever. They're not going to watch this. I can say whatever I want.
They're not here to fact check.
Yeah, they're not here. I can do whatever I want. So Assassin's Creed was the one that really popped off. But also World of Warcraft helped because then I realized, hey, I'm not good at video games. So I'm just going to focus on that. I'm going to try and be funny rather than be good at the games because no one's going to watch me because I'm good at what I'm doing.
Yeah, I always imagine like if my channel wasn't like me being a funny person and playing games, it would just be a regular dude constantly failing all the time. But then I was like, actually, that would be really hilarious to watch. Just watch a dude just get so mad all the time. Oh my gosh, I would lose my mind. But only because I find stuff like that funny. I don't think I would expect a lot of other people to find that funny. But my game is on the Super Nintendo because I'm old. And it was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers video game.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I found some thing on YouTube that I've heard of recently. You might have heard of it. It's called the Power Ranger Love Song.
Oh, podcast is over.
I found it recently. You should check it out sometime. I think you'd really like it.
Oh man. Yeah, so my last guest, Hunter, found it because we were just talking and I didn't expect him to actually go out and search it. It's on an account that I didn't even know what email I used to make that account. And then he was like, dude, there's like 4.6 thousand views on this thing.
Yeah.
Like, what? Damn it. If only I knew the login. Like, I would touch it up, maybe re-record it. I don't know. But yeah, Power Ranger Love Song. I don't know if you know this, but yeah, I'm obsessed with Power Rangers, dude. And it's frightening how obsessed I am with that because I'm a grown-ass man. Like, what am I doing with my life? But, man, it's just the whole idea of having, like, a super force of, like, hormonal teenagers. One, it's super funny that exists. Two, the world is in the hands of teenagers? Come on. What are we doing with our lives? Oh, I don't know who... I'm sure I should know this, but I don't know who invented Power Rangers. But they were like, what's the most unlikely scenario? Yep. Teenagers with attitude. So nuts. So nuts. That was a revolution in the 90s. I highly recommend if you literally have nothing to do, go watch it.
Yeah.
But only if you have nothing to do. Don't go seek it out. It's so crap. It's the worst television. I'm so glad television is where it's at now. Television has gotten so much better since then. But when you do have time and you do find yourself watching something, what are you watching nowadays?
Oh, I've always had a fascination with detective shows, but only the obscure ones. Like Psych, like Lucifer.
Psych's my
stuff
favorite
like
show of all time. Yeah.
Psych, I've seen the series 10 times through. It is so good.
I finished it last week.
I can quote every episode. I've seen it so many times. I absolutely love that show. So yeah, that's my go-to show. Has always been Psych.
Bro, you got to join the Facebook group, the Psychos.
I am on the Facebook group. Believe you me.
What?
I am on that group.
Dude, suck it. So good.
Suck it.
So good. So Sean
and
Spencer.
The classic. Come on, son.
Come on, son. James Roday, funny enough, went to a high school that was 2 blocks from the house I grew up in.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And when I found out that someone from San Antonio could be in Psych, I was like, I can do this too. It gave me hope because I was feeling like San Antonio was it just sucks you in and it digs your
Yeah.
claws in it. But I've grown up. It's not the city, it's the person.
Yeah.
And if he can do it, anyone can do it. I also have to regret and say that I have not seen any of the movies yet.
I haven't. Yeah, as much as I love Psych, I haven't seen the newest movie. I haven't seen Lassie Come Home yet. I've seen the first one several times, but yeah, I haven't seen the newest movie that's out on Peacock.
So, for those of you that don't know, Psych is on Amazon Prime at the moment, and the last episode of the 8th season is actually their little interview couch session where they sit with all the cast members and reminisce about the show, and all you want to do is cry because you know it's the end. You know it's the end.
It's so sad. And it's that way every time you watch it. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it. I still cry every time.
Mm-hmm. When I hit 8th season, I was like, this is the last one. You have to slow down.
Yeah, what do we do now?
I didn't slow down. That just means I have to start it again in another week or two, you know?
Exactly. What's your favorite episode? I got a question for you. What's your favorite episode or like series of episodes from Psych?
Oh man. Kurt Smith. They go to that other detective guy who's like a contractor, who's like a fake. They find out, but he's also really
the profile,
rich.
The profiler, yeah.
Yeah. And Kurt Smith is just chilling in the pool, in the courtyard, singing,
just playing by the pool.
Oh my gosh! And they're like, "That's Kurt Smith!" Like they were shocked, and the guy was like, "Hey, I didn't pay you to talk, Kurt." That was great. The talent show where they did the Michael Jackson.
I think, yeah.
Declan, yes, Declan. The talent show where they did Michael Jackson. That's by far
so good.
Black Capella Part 1 and 2
Definitely
is great. Man, to pick a favorite episode is impossible.
For me, it's always been the Yin Yang trilogy. Because every time I'd finish the series, I would go back and rewatch those 3 episodes and then start the series again.
Those 3 episodes could be a movie.
They could.
Yeah, 100%. Who's okay? Besides Gus and Sean, who's your favorite character?
Oh boy. I think it'd probably be, as much as I love like Lassie and Juliet and Buzz, let's be real, but I really relate to Henry on a personal level because I'm going to be that crotchety old man someday. Like I know myself well enough that one day that will be me. So I think it's kind of hard for me to go against Henry in any way, shape, or form.
Damn it, Sean. Mine's Pierre Despereaux. That guy.
Oh yes. Oh, he's so good.
He was an enigma. And the last episode with him in it, where it showed him as like a little nerd, I was like, gosh, this is one of the best characters they've developed in this show. Oh, it's so good. Holy crap. We've been recording for a lot longer than I thought. I hope I'm not taking you away from anything.
Oh, I cleared my whole schedule for this tonight. I was excited. It's my first podcast. I was really excited about this.
Yeah, I broke the podcast cherry. Mom, don't pay attention to what I just said. So, okay, I'm gonna send you a link in because I do want to be respectful of your time, but we can totally continue to talk after. Because so the whole point of this is I want to create a community on the podcast. I want to bring you back, do like a then and there, even if it's like a month from now. Let's get your growth on. Let's get more of your story out. Tell me what you've been up to, kind of thing. But I'm gonna send you a link in Discord. Maybe if I can learn how to copy and paste.
Is that dice roll?
Yeah. Oh wait, did you bring your own dice?
I brought my entire dice tray. I was prepared for this moment.
Okay, so then you don't even need that. I do, because my dice is packed up over there. So, here's the thing, man. Twitch went down, just like Mixer. Facebook gaming's down, and YouTube gaming is down. There's only one, and it's a brand new streaming source, and they're about to sign their first contract, and they're going to pick one of us. The second, the person who loses has to be that person's number 2 player for the rest of the
channel.
So,
all
as
eternity.
the guest, you go ahead and roll your D20. I want to preface that I've lost quite a few of these on the podcast. So,
then you may have finally met your match.
Prepare to get that contract.
I am terrible at this. Let's see. What do I got here? Okay. What do I have to do to get advantage on this roll?
What did you get?
I got a 6.
You could still beat me. All right, here we go. Cool. I got a 6 as well.
Woo!
Let's go again.
Oh God, I don't know if that's good. Should I use a different D20?
That's all up to you.
Oh, come on! I got an 8.
That's better. 15. Let's
Dang
go.
It!
Let's go.
Come on!
Okay, but hey, when I go on vacation, you can take over. So
well, I just rolled again and got a natural 1. So yeah, this is just I'm done. I quit. Never playing D&D again. I'm just so bad at this.
So, do you actually play D&D?
All the time. The only time I roll well is when I'm DMing and I'm trying to kill my friends.
Yeah,
that's the only time I ever roll well.
Yeah, it seems to be that my good rolls were only initiative and perception checks. So I get to go first, but I'm not going to hit nothing, and I'll see the enemy coming, but that's about it. I actually started this thinking it was just going to be like a behind the screen where I just interview DMs, but I was like, man, the interest that I have are everywhere. So I shouldn't just focus on that. But the first 4 episodes are DMs that I know. So, and I think they're some of my best work because I know them, and so I know what questions I can really throw them off with.
Yeah.
But man, we did it. We recorded a podcast. You've been an all-star guest, man. You were so great. I really appreciate you coming out here. But this is your red carpet. Let people know how they can reach you, how they can watch you, how they can touch you. And yeah, this is it. Go ahead.
You can reach me from a distance. You can touch me physically. You can find me on youtube.com/GortekGameplay. You can also find me on Twitch at GortekGameplay. You can follow me on Instagram at GortekGameplay. Or you can follow me on Twitter at GortekG because GortekGameplay was taken for some reason. Yeah. So
I feel you. Behind was taken. And I was like, who? By who?
Why?
What was going on in their head?
Yeah. How was GortekGameplay available on every platform except for Twitter? Who else is using that currently?
Well, man, I really appreciate you coming out. For those of you guys listening and watching right now, thank you again. You guys can find us on all social medias now. We got Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find us at BT Behind on all of the platforms. We try to keep it simple because I'm dumb. If you or someone you know has a really cool story, or you guys are involved in something really interesting, let us know by emailing us at btbehind@gmail.com, and we'll try to get you up on the show. Excuse me, my throat is dry. But
have you tried Coke Zero Sugar? Same great Coke taste, zero sugar, now with a hint of added vanilla.
I'm on my 5th 32-ounce water, and it feels like it's doing nothing. But yeah, thank you guys again for listening, and I'll see you again. Welcome. Behind the behind. Welcome. What's your story? Behind the behind. You're a hero. Welcome. Where are we going? Behind the what? behind the behind.